All right, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. If you've never been here before, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you are notified every time a new video goes up on this channel, SouFLoTV. We've been following this, and yes, the president of Haiti, Jovenel Moïse, was assassinated, and through investigation and gathering of information, this rabbit hole just continues to get deeper and deeper and deeper. If you saw the last video we posted before this one about the head of security, then you will understand this one. Make sure you see that video first, or you might be lost about what's going on. A lot of people have a pretty good idea now of what happened. Most people are confused. Some people want the US to be involved so bad that they can point their fingers and say, yes, I told you, it's the US. Let me say this. From what I've seen, they might have had some US people involved, but those US people all have Haitian connections. This isn't about politics. This is more about drugs and guns. That is my opinion. So, news broke today that the head of security at Haiti's presidential residence is now in police custody. Finally, in police custody. If you ask me, Dimitri Herard should have been in police custody from day one. Because when it all went down, people were asking, well, where was the head of security and where was his team? As we know, Dimitri Herard, his main duty is to protect the president. President Jovenel Moïse was assassinated, executed in his home. His wife, the first lady, was also hit, but she made it. One death. One significant death. So the headline says that the head of security in Haiti's presidential residence had been placed in police custody finally, according to close associates, as authorities continue to investigate the assassination of Haiti's president, Jovenel Moïse. Dimitri Herard, who is the head of the general security of the National Palace, had been questioned at the Inspector General's office on Wednesday. Then he was transferred to Associate Carl Martin, who said that he is coordinating Herard's legal team defense. When Herard asked the police, this is Dimitri Herard, he asked the police, why are you guys holding me? Why are you holding me overnight? He was told that the decision to hold him overnight comes from higher up. This is what Martin said to CNN, who spoke with Herard on Wednesday evening. He added that the police have taken away Herard's gun and his cell phone, and that they had spoken through another police officer's phone, not his phone. They don't even want his phone to do anything else. Just leave the phone right where it's at. We'll take it from here. Use somebody else's phone. Use another police officer's phone. Listen, this thing with Dimitri finally being locked up somewhat. If you listen to the previous video, you will know that he was pulled from duty, and he was basically put on what I would call house arrest. He was allowed to go about his business, but he was required to check in every day. Now, a lot of people in the meantime were saying, how is this possible? All those other people are locked up. He should be as well. He should be accountable for what went down. When he asked the police why they are holding him overnight, he was told that the decision came from higher up. The way how Haiti words this, or the way how whoever wrote this article words it, it seems as if they don't want to use the word arrested. But if you're in a cell and all your belongings are taken away, you are arrested. right? So he has been arrested. He no longer has to check in every 24 hours or every day. He is in confinement. Now, they might let him go by the time we listen to this video fully, but they are continuing to try to investigate deeper to find the mastermind behind this. My opinion is they have already found the mastermind behind this. So they took away his gun. They took away his cell phone. He was not allowed to even speak through his cell phone. He was allowed to use another officer's phone. Earlier on Wednesday, Herard did not appear for a court inquiry that was ordered by the Port-au-Prince public prosecutors, citing a mandatory appearance at the Inspector General's office. This is like, I'm bigger than the law. I'm not going in there. But he wrote a letter, and this is from Dimitri Herard. And the letter says, I have the honor to inform you, following the invitations sent to me by the Public Prosecutor's Office of Port-au-Prince, I am currently under a precautionary measure that was ordered by the General Inspectorate of the Haitian Police. As a result, I am not available to comply with the request of the Public Prosecutor. Now, mind you, this appearance was supposed to be mandatory, but he wrote a letter instead of going. And this is what he said in the letter. As a result, I am not available to comply with the request of the public prosecutors. Oh, man. And CNN has vouched because they have seen it. Now, while I'm willing to respond once this protective measure expires, he says, I respectfully request a stay of execution from your office for this purpose, as may be required. Now, it was said that Moise had a large security detail and that Herard's unit, the unit that Dimitri Herard was responsible for, contained a number of officers, but Herard's the only one that is being held in this fashion. They're not holding any of the other guards. They're holding him, Dimitri Herard. The chain of command does not stop at Dimitri Herard, though. Herard hopes for a fair chance at a fair investigation now that international agencies, including Interpol and the FBI, are now involved. Now, y'all know, once the FBI gets involved, things are going to go all kinds of different ways. May I remind you that some of those men who were Colombian, we know now to be, some were ex-soldiers. Some of them were also undercovers, informants for both the DEA and the FBI. How did these informants end up on this duty? At this point, it looks like their whole plan is to throw as much information into the soup pot and stir it around so everybody who pays attention to this story gets confused. So soon you won't know who to point the finger at. I'm going to break down for you my opinion from my assessment of what actually took place in Haiti. Martin said that the police in Haiti had initially placed Dimitri Herard in isolation, but that was only for a short period of time, and that was only for safety reasons. Moise, as we all know, Jovenel Moise, was killed last week during the attack in his private residence, and the First Lady was there and she was wounded as well. Now, on Wednesday, there was a statement on the First Lady's verified Twitter account, and she thanked guardian angels who helped me through this terrible time, quote unquote, accompanied by a picture that appeared to show her in a hospital bed. No reporting source has verified if this picture is authentic, but I am guessing that it might be. Authorities say that the operation involved at least 26 Colombians to this point. Some are former members of the Colombian military, and they were hired through, they can trace the paperwork. Remember, not a bank card, but the credit card that purchased those plane tickets were linked back to this company. So they were hired through a Florida-based security company. I think that is as much as America goes in this. Everybody wants this to be some big conspiracy for America. I will tell you this. If the United States of America wanted to do a covert operation and go into Haiti, assassinate their president, clean up and leave and divert this thing in a whole different direction, they could have done so easily. This was obviously a messy job. But it seems like the mess was done on purpose. Now listen to me good. This is my theory. So, first of all, several people, including relatives of the Colombian suspects, are saying that all this does not add up. But hey, you don't expect these men to tell their family members, their relatives, that, hey, I'm a hitman and I'm going to put in some work. Of course, they're going to say stuff like, I'm getting a job, I'm getting hired by a security company out of the US. You know, it's something prestigious to kind of say that. Now, they only mention a company based in the US and a job. This is what the suspects are saying. They got this job from this company, and all the company mentioned was that it was a job as private security in Haiti, and that it was security for the president, who was believed to be under death threats at the time. But now they realize that it was all a plot. How can you have this type of assassination and not have a single dead person other than the president himself? A commander out of Colombia said, if my guys had done this job, they would have had to enter the residence and kill the guards before killing the president. You would have seen a combat scene. So no, this is not on no higher level, nothing. 3 US citizens have also been alleged linked to this attack. In case y'all forgot, there's James Salages and Joseph Vincent. Both are naturalized US citizens, but they are originally from Haiti, and they were detained last week. Some people are trying to go off course with this and saying that government officials in the US, this is from way higher up, and they're trying to throw this bunch of different stuff out there. No, this is not from way higher up. This is not from way higher up. Remember Dr. Sanon? Dr. Sanon had repeatedly emphasized that he doesn't know anything at all. And to this point, he is still saying he does not know anything at all about an assassination plot, according to a source that is close to the investigation, who cannot be named because they are not authorized to discuss the affairs that are going on. Police have not announced any formal charges against Sanon as yet, and it is not yet clear if Sanon has retained any legal representation to this point to address the issues, the charges. Now we're talking about the doctor who was supposed to be inserted into that seat as president of Haiti. Like he was going to go in there, issue an arrest warrant for Jovenel Moise, have them remove him, and then insert Sanon as the new president. And Sanon is saying that is true, but that is where it ends. I know nothing of an assassination plot. So in other words, what Sanon's defense is now is that he was used and he is not a part of the assassination. The US has sent FBI and Department of Homeland Security agents to assist in this investigation now, and the government is still re-evaluating and are requesting assistance from the Haitian government. This was also said by State Department spokesperson Ned Price on Tuesday. There's an article in CNN that got published today called Head of Security at Haiti's Presidential Residence in Police Custody. You can go read it for yourself. Here's my theory. Okay, listen to this. And I want you to listen to this really good. There are two things I want you to go read, and I will give you the source in a minute. But listen to this first. So, when 20,000 U.S. troops were dispatched to this poor nation to oust a military dictatorship, President Clinton at the time justified that move into Haiti with military power by saying that the Haitian generals were trafficking heavy drugs. But despite the restoration of an elected government and the creation of a new police force in Haiti, more cocaine than ever before is finding its way through Haiti directly from Colombia, directly en route to the United States of America. According to USA and Haitian officials who identify the country's southern shores as one of the busiest drug conduits in the hemisphere. U.S. officials estimate that 59.4 tons of cocaine were coming through at the time they published this article. Hold your horses. I'm going to tell you where to go get the information because I'm not going to give you all of it. I want you to go see it for yourself. Now, understand this. Haiti's southern shore is just 8 hours north of the Colombian coast. This is by traveling by speedboat. And most of these drug boats are outfitted with an extra gas tank. So the traffickers' boats can actually leave at about dusk and arrive by dawn, avoiding all aerial surveillance. Haitian officials said that the drug traffickers run very little risk of being caught in a country with such a young police force and a notoriously corrupted judicial system. Haiti has the weakest police, and this is the easiest way to go from Colombia to the United States, through Haiti. I've told people this before, that the drug route, if you look at where Dimitri Herard had traveled, it's that drug route. Okay? That also, and it also spells business with the cartel. Plain and simple. So, for me, it comes down to drugs and guns. Dimitri Herard was also trying to corner the gun market. Now, the situation in Haiti is very grim. Okay? Very grim. Very grim. The political aspects of this, though, it's not really political. This is about what we call drug dealers' business and arms dealers' business. I want you to go and find this article. This article is called Flow of Colombian Cocaine Through Haiti Turns to Blood. And it was written by Douglas Farah. Type that into Google and get into that article for yourself. All right. Now, there's another article. State Department awarded Haiti a contract to politically connected security firm. A politically connected security firm. And this one says in November of 2019, as part of its support for the Haitian National Police, you're going to hear this man's name come up a lot, but listen to the connection. In November of 2019, as part of its support for the Haitian National Police, or the HNP, the State Department Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs, or the INL, they awarded a $73,000 contract for the provision of riot gear kits for the police crowd control unit in Haiti. There had been a lot of protests going on in Haiti, and the majority of these protests were people gathering in the thousands and protesting that they want Jovenel Moïse out of office because he is corrupted and he is not good for the Haitian people. This is what, whether they were right or wrong, this is what they were doing. This information is contained in the US government's contracting database, so not hard to find. Earlier this summer, CIMO and the HNP, which is the Haitian National Police units, used US manufactured tear gas to disperse activists who had assembled in front of the Ministry of Justice, rallying for the right to life amid a rapidly deteriorating security situation in Haiti. They actually used the tear gas on the people. The police repressed the protests even though the organizer had received the proper legal documents clearance to go ahead with a peaceful protest. Remember, we're talking about democracy. So you can't have democracy without the people being able to protest peacefully. It is a right under democracy. However, with all their proper stuff in place, they still got tear gassed. Remember, this contract allowed the company to be fitted with these riot gears and all the provisions they needed, and they actually used it against the people. It was an example of why such State Department contracts are concerning, and not just because of how the riot gear can be used on the ground, but because of how the firm had received that contract. Now it gets deep right here. X International, and I looked up all of these. X International, according to Florida corporate records, it was owned by Frederick Martin, a person that is also known as Kappa. I cannot find a picture of Kappa to save my life. Every time I look up anything that has to do with Kappa, Dimitri Herard's picture comes up. Kappa is a Haitian American and a former member of the US Navy. Martin has become increasingly involved in Haiti's security forces over the last few years. This is the same person. Kappa is Martin. Kappa is his nickname. He has become increasingly involved in Haiti's security over the last few years, though his private ventures should raise even more troubling questions about the State Department contract. Now, in June, local press reported that Martin, together with a relative of Dimitri Herard, that relative is Dimitri Herard's sister, Dimitri is the head of Haiti's Palace Guard. Martin, along with Dimitri Herard's sister, had formed a new company called Haiti Ordnance Factory SA, or HOFSA. Now, according to its corporate registration documents, if you read the documents, the new company would be authorized to manufacture weapons and ammunition in Haiti. Now, people like us from Jamaica, we're saying stuff like Haiti don't own no manufacturing gun plants and manufacturing ammunition plants, so these things are coming from somewhere else. Well, Dimitri Herard was trying to corner that market as well. Don't forget that Dimitri Herard is also connected to another business partner who has the skill to make weapons, manufacture them, untraceable weapons. And he was also a business partner on this deal. Now, after news of the company's existence broke, the government revoked their license. When the government realized that in the prints, it says that they would have the right to manufacture guns and ammunition. But this was just one of Herard's and Martin's new ventures. They opened other businesses. This thing goes really deep. So at the end of the day, this is what my summation of all this is. I want you to go read this complete article because it gives you more. It's called www.counterpunch.org. And the headline says, State Department awarded Haiti contract to politically connected security firm by Jake Johnston and Kira Paul-Mon. Please go read that article. So here's my summation of what happened. Large amounts of Colombian cocaine came through Haiti. Jovenel Moise, I don't know if he was trying to renegotiate a contract, if he was trying to get more, to tax the Colombians more, or because if he was, then he would definitely be involved in the trade and he would be a dirty. Or he just stopped their shipment, period. He was given a deadline to release that shipment, not just of cocaine, but guns as well. Dimitri Herard, how he ties in, he is the Colombian link in high places within the Haitian government. There are many other articles out there that will tell you how the Colombians had been moving into Haiti and building sprawling mansions in the hills around Port-au-Prince, driving their Rolls Royces on the messed up streets that Haiti has with the big potholes and whatnot. And you can see the wealth. Even a lot of Haitians had stopped working because how the Colombians would drop the drugs. They would drop them from airplanes, and sometimes they would drop in areas where peasants would find them. And these peasants just stopped working and they suddenly were able to afford everything. So they became drug dealers in a sense themselves. And then the murder, mayhem, kidnappings started. And this threw everything out of whack. But Dimitri Herard is the connection. I think he is the Colombian connection, and he thought that he was going to be able to manipulate all this by removing Moise, because Moise was not playing games and not playing their games. So they would remove him, put someone else in power who would have been Dr. Sanon from Miami or from Florida. Once they put Sanon in, everything would be okay, because Sanon would release their shipments, Sanon would send their drugs through, and Sanon would also sign off on their gun manufacturing and their gun distribution, whether it's illegal weapons or whatever. And that is what the gist of this was. They have the right person. I really think they have the right person at this point. It is Dimitri Herard. Some people are going to say no, because there's someone above Dimitri Herard who is calling the shots. I would call those people his business partners. It gets no higher than him in Haiti. Yes, he had a lot of other powerful people in Haiti that were signing off on what he was doing because they were corrupted as well and they were involved. But if you notice, right, when they're saying that Dimitri Herard is arrested, they never use the word arrested. It is because he is a person that they fear. They genuinely fear him. This man is highly trained, highly skilled, and seems to be someone that is fearless. And he is known for violence with power on his side. We're going to leave it here right now, and we will continue to follow this, so keep on looking out. He is in custody. Let's see if he will be released from custody. Let's see if he will be charged and he will be convicted, which I highly doubt. The question stands: who is going to be held responsible for the assassination of the Haitian president, Jovenel Moise? The rabbit hole gets deeper. I'll catch you on the next video. Leave your comments in the comment section below. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.